And here we are for part two. That was just basically me hitting stop and then record again. So let me set this up. Here's the time and the scene of the play. We are in the royal house of Thebes. Double doors dominate the facade. A stone altar stands at the center of the stage. Many years have passed since Oedipus solved the riddle of the Sphinx and ascended to the throne of Thebes. And now a plague has struck the city. A procession of priests enter, suppliants. Broken and despondent, they carry branches wound in wool and lay them on the altar. The doors open. Guards assemble. Oedipus comes forward, majestic, but for a telltale limp, and slowly views the condition of his people. Let me explain that. We are in Thebes. We are in Oedipus's palace. Oedipus came to power because there was the Sphinx. I won't get into what sphinxes are. Look them up. They're pretty neat. But anyway, so a sphinx has put a curse, a plague on Thebes. And here comes Oedipus. Nobody knows him. And he goes up and the sphinx is like, can you solve my riddle? And Oedipus is like, yeah, I can. And then he does. And the sphinx is like, well, you're the king of Thebes now. And he's like, okay, I didn't have anything else to do. So he has solved the Sphinx, and now he is the king of Thebes. And many years go by. He gets older, he's been king for a while, and a plague is all over Thebes again. So that's where we come in. There's a plague going on, and these priests are putting like these sacrifices to the gods. That's the sticks wound in wool. Sacrifices to the gods, trying to understand what's going on. And Oedipus walks out there and he sees his people are broken and sick and he's worried. So that's where we are. Oedipus. Oh, my children, the new blood of ancient Thebes, why are you here, huddling at my altar, praying before me, your branches wound in wool? Our city reeks with the smoke of burning incense, rings with the cries of the healer and the wailing of the dead. I thought it wrong, my children, to hear the truth from others, messengers, and here I am myself. You all know me. The world knows my fame. I am Oedipus. There's that hubris. He helps the priest to his feet. Speak, old man. Your years, your dignity. You should speak for the others. Why are you here kneeling? What preys upon you so? Some sudden fear? Some strong desire? You could trust me. I am ready to help. I'll do anything. I would be blind to misery, not pity for my people kneeling to my feet or kneeling at my feet. Here's one thing you're going to notice. He mentions being blind a lot and the word blind a lot. Foreshadowing. This is the priest. O Oedipus, king of the land, our greatest power. You see us before you now, men of all ages, clinging to your altars. Here are boys still too weak to fly from the nest. And here the old, bowed down with years, the holy ones, a priest of Zeus myself, and here the picked unmarried men, the young hope of Thebes, and all the rest of your great family gathers now, branches wreathed, massing in squares, kneeling before the two temples of Queen Athena, or the river shrine where their embers glow and die, and Apollo sees the future in ashes. Our city, look around you, see with your own eyes. Our ship pitches wildly, cannot lift her head from the depths. The red waves of death. Thebes is dying. A blight on the fresh crops. Oh, 1 second, guys. The red waves of death. Thebes is dying. A blight on the fresh crops and the rich pastures. Cattle sicken and die, and women die in labor. Children stillborn. And the plague, the fiery god of fever, hurls down on the city. His lightning slashes through us, raging plague in all its vengeance, devastating the house of Cadmus. The black death luxuriates in raw, wailing miseries of Thebes. This may have not been the best play to read right now, when we're talking about a plague. Anyway, let's see what else the priest has to say. Now we pray to you. You cannot equal the gods your children know that, bending at your altar, but we do rate you first of men, both in common cries of our lives and face-to-face encounters with the gods. You freed us from the Sphinx. You came to Thebes and cut loose the bloody tribute that we had paid that harsh, brutal singer. We taught you nothing, no skill, no extra knowledge. Still you triumphed. A God was with you. So they say, and we believe it. You lifted up our lives. So now again, Oedipus, king, we bend to you. Your power we implore you. All of us on our knees. Find us strength. Rescue us. Perhaps you've heard the voice of a god or something from other men. Oedipus, what do you know? The man of experience, you see it every day. His plans will work in crisis. He's first of all. Act now, we beg you. Best of men, raise up our city. Act. Defend yourself, your former glory. Your country calls you savior now, for your zeal, your actions years ago. Never let us again reign, or never let us remember of your reign. You helped us stand, only to fall once more. Oh, raise up our city, set us on our feet. The omens were good that day you brought us joy. Be the same man today. Rule our land. You know that you have the power, but rule the land of the living and not a wasteland. Ship and towered city are nothing, stripped of men alive within, living all as one. So here's what the priest tells him. Let me go flip the old out there. Oedipus comes out there and there's a bunch of people standing out there. And some priests are laying the woven wool and sticks on his altar. And he was like, what are you guys doing here? And the priest is like, listen, there is a plague ravaging the city. People are dying like our young men are dying. They are the hope of Thebes and they're dying. Women are dying in labor. Children are being stillborn. Everything's going really, really badly. We're in really, really bad shape. What we need from you, Oedipus, is to be the king you once were, to be the person you once were. You remember when you saved us from the Sphinx? How awesome and great you were? We need you to be that again today. So, save us, Oedipus. Please figure something out. And let's see how Oedipus responds. My children, I pity you. I see how how could I fail to see what longings bring you here? Well, I know you are sick to death, all of you. But sick as you are, not one is sick as I. Your pain strikes each of you alone, each in the confines of himself and no other. But my spirit grieves for the city, for myself and all of you. I wasn't asleep, dreaming. You haven't wakened me. I have wept through the nights, you must know that. Groping, laboring over many paths of thought. After a painful search, I found one cure, and I acted at once. I sent Creon, my wife's own brother, to Delphi, Apollo the prophet's oracle, to learn what I might do or say to save our city. So, here's what Oedipus is saying. You guys think you got it bad. You're just worried about yourselves as individuals. I have to worry about all of you. And I have spent many nights crying for Thebes and trying to figure out how to fix this. And the only thing I can think of was to send Creon to Delphi, which is Apollo's priest, to learn what I can do to save our city. Today's the day. When I count the days gone by and torments me. What is he doing? Strange, he's late. He's gone too long. But once he returns, then I'll be a traitor if I do not do all the gods make clear. So he's like, man, Creon's been gone a while. I wonder what's up with that. Where's Creon? But whatever Creon comes back and says, whatever the gods want me to do, I'm gonna do. Priest. Timely words. The men over there are signaling. Creon's just arriving. Oedipus. He sees Creon and he turns to the altar. Lord Apollo, let him come with a lucky word of rescue, shining like his eyes. Priest. Welcome news, I think he's crowned. Look, and the laurel wreath is bright with berries. Oedipus. We'll see soon. He's close enough to hear. Enter Creon from the side. His face is shaded with a wreath. Creon, prince, my kinsman, what do you bring us? What message from God? Creon, good news. I tell you even the hardest things to bear. If they should turn out well, all would be well. Of course, but what were the gods' words? There's no hope and nothing to fear in what you've said so far. Creon, if you want my report in the presence of these people, pointing at the priests while drawing Oedipus towards the palace, I'm ready now, or we might go inside. Speak out. Speak to all of us. I grieve for these, my people. far more than I fear for my own life. So Crayon's like, maybe we should go inside and talk about this. And Oedipus is like, no. Let's tell everybody. Everybody's worried. Let's just throw it out there and let everybody hear. Crayon. Very well. I would tell you what I have heard from the god. Apollo commands us. He was quite clear. Drive the corruption from the land. Don't harbor it any longer. Past all cure. Don't nurse it in your soil. Root it out. How can we cleanse ourselves? What rights? What's the source of the troubles? Banish the man and pay back blood with blood. Murder sets plague storm on the city. Whose murder? Whose fate does Apollo bring to light? Our leader, my lord, was once a man named Laius. Before you came and put us straight on course. Well, I know, or so I've heard. I've never saw the man myself. Well, he was killed, and Apollo commands us now. He could not be more clear. Pay the killers back. Whoever is responsible. Pay the killers back, whoever's responsible. Where on earth are they? Where'd you find it now? The trail of the ancient guilt so hard to trace. Here in Thebes. Let me try this again. Here in Thebes, he said. Whatever is sought or can be caught, you know. Whatever is neglected slips away. But where? In the palace, the fields, or foreign soil? Where did Laius meet his bloody death? He went to consult an oracle, Apollo said, and he set out and never came home again. No messenger, no fellow traveler saw what happened? Someone to cross-examine? No. They were all killed but one. He escaped, terrified. He could tell us nothing clearly, nothing of what he saw, just one thing. Well, what's that? One thing could hold the key to it all. A small beginning gives us hope, or grounds for hope. He said the thieves attacked them, a whole band, not a single-handed. Cut King Laius down. A thief, so daring, so wild, he'd kill a king. Impossible unless conspirators paid him off in Thebes. We suspected as much, but with Laius dead, no leader appeared to help us with our troubles. So, Crayon comes back. From talking to Apollo's priest, oracle, whatever. And Oedipus is like, oh, what Apollo say? How do we get rid of the plague? And Crayon's like, he was very clear in what he said. There's someone who killed Laius, the former king, the dude before you. And Apollo wants that person killed. Blood for blood. And the plague's not going to be lifted until Apollo gets what he wants, which is revenge for Laius. And Oedipus is like, no problem, but where do we find this dude? Crayon's like, that's the thing. We don't really know who did it. And Oedipus is like, nobody knows. Nobody was there. Like, he didn't have people with him. Crayon's like, he had people with him, and one dude escaped. But he was so shaken by the incident, he can't really tell us anything. And that's where we come back. Trouble, your king was murdered. Royal blood. What stopped you from tracking down the killer then and there? The singing, riddling Sphinx. She persuaded us to let the mystery go and concentrate at what lay on our feet. No. I'll start again. I'll bring it all to light myself. Apollo was right, and so were you, Crayon. To turn our attention back to the murdered man. Now, you have me to fight for you. You'll see. I am the land's avenger by all rights, and Apollo's champion, too. But not to assist some distant kinsman, no. For my own sake, I will rid us of this corruption. Whoever killed the king may decide to kill me too. With the same violent hand by avenging Laius, I defend myself. He turns to the priests. Quickly, my children, up from the steps, take up your branches now. To the guards. What have you summoned the city here before us? Tell them I'll do everything. God help us, we will see our triumph or our fall. So Oedipus is like, I'm going to find this dude. What if he tries to kill me one day? I'm a king now. So Oedipus and Crayon enter the palace, and they're followed by the guards, the priest. Rise, my sons. The kindness we came for. Oedipus volunteers himself. Apollo has sent his word, his oracle. Come down, Apollo. Save us. Stop the plague. The priests rise, remove their branches, and exit to the side. Enter the chorus, the citizens of Thebes, who have not heard the news that Crayon brings. They march around the altar chanting, Zeus, great welcome voice of Zeus, what do you bring? What word from the gold vaults of Delphi comes to brilliant Thebes, racked with terror, terror that shakes my heart? And I cry your wild cries, Apollo, healer of Delos. I worship you in dread. What now? What is your price? Some new sacrifice, some ancient rite from the past come again, or come around each spring? What will you bring to birth? Tell me. Tell me, child of golden hope, warm voices that never die. You are the first I call, daughter of Zeus, deathless Athena. I call your sister Artemis, heart of the marketplace, enthroned in glory, guardian of our earth. I call Apollo, archer astride the thunderheads of heaven. O triple shield against death, shine before me now. If ever once in the past you stopped some ruin launched against our walls, you hurled the flame of pain far, far from Thebes. You gods, come now. Come down once more. They're basically begging the gods, come help. The miseries numberless, grief on grief, no end, too much to bear. We are all dying, oh my people. Thebes like a great army dying, and there is no sword of thought to save us. No, and the fruits of our famous earth, they will not ripen, and women cannot scream their pangs to birth. Screams for the healer, children dead in the womb, and life on life goes on. You can watch them go like seabirds winging west, outracing the day's fire down the horizon, irresistibly, streaking on the shores of the evening. They're basically saying everything that everybody else has been saying about the situation. Death, so many deaths, numberless deaths on deaths, no end. Thebes is dying. Look, her children stripped of pity, generations strewn on the ground, unburied, unwept, the dead spreading death. And the young wives and the gray-haired mothers with them cling to the altars trailing in from all over the city. Thebes, city of death. One long cordage and suffering rises. Wails for mercy rise, and the wild hymn for the healer blazes out, clashing with our sobs and our cries of mourning. Our golden daughter of God, send rescue radiant as the kindness in your eye. Drive him back. The fever, the god of death, the raging god of war. Not armored in bronze, not shielded now, he burns me. Battle cries and onslaught burning on. Oh, rout him from our borders. Sail him, blast him out to the sea queen's chamber, the black Atlantic gulfs. Or the northern harbor, death to all, where the Thackerean surf comes crashing. Now what night spares, he comes by day and kills the god of death. O Lord of storm crowd, you who twirl the lightning, Zeus, Father, thunder death to nothing. Apollo, the Lord of the light, I beg you, whip your longbow's golden cord, showering arrows on our enemies. Chefs of power, champions strong before us rushing on. Artemis, huntress, torches flaming over the eastern ridges, ride death down in pain. God of the headdress gleaming gold, I cry to you, your name and our names. Dionysius, come with your face aflame with wine, your raving women's cries, your army on the march. Come with all the lightning. Come with torches blazing, the eyes ablaze with glory. Burn that god of death and that all gods hate. Okay, that was a mouthful. So we'll stop there today. I'm going to write down where we stopped so I don't forget. That wasn't a fart, that was the chair. And I make this harder to grab this out of here. Now I'll just write it on the soundboard. Okay. So we're going to stop on page 171. Okay. Better write seniors on there so I remember. Okay. So, quick recap. Thebes has a plague on it. Crayon comes back. And he's like, listen, we got to find the dude that murdered the old king. Oedipus is like, that's fine. We're going to find him. We're going to kill him because he might want to kill me one day. And everybody in Thebes is crying and needs help. Crying to the gods. That's what the chorus was doing. Okay, guys. We will pick up on this. Well, you got spring break this week. Spring break. So what we'll probably do is just come back on Tuesday and start reading this again. I think we can finish it next week. But other than that, stay safe. Social distancing. Hope everybody saw the parade. It was fun. I was glad to see you guys. I missed you guys. Except for Sean, obviously. No, I miss all you guys. Man, I don't like this. It's boring. Anyway, the more we do it, the quicker it will go by. So, I'll talk to you guys next week. Again, if you have any questions, Hangouts, email. Sean, you can Snapchat me. Other than that, have a good week, guys. Try to have fun in some way. Go outside, exercise, ride your bikes. Do stuff outside. It is so gorgeous out right now. And I will talk to you guys later.